Your luggage could be holding you back from your dream Japan trip. People don't always realize this, but Japan isn't really made for big suitcases. It can be pretty difficult to find the exact right exit for the elevators and escalators at a train station, buses and trains can be too crowded for your suitcase, and maybe your hotel is just way too far to walk to. I could be here talking about these problems all day. The point is, you need to plan your luggage. I'm not saying that you should only bring a single backpack for your entire 10-day trip, unless maybe you're amazing at packing, but I'm just going to take you on a little journey to show you how your luggage might get in the way and what you can do about it. That starts with getting out of the airport. Depending on where you land and where your hotel is, you might need to change trains a few times. So the first step is to check your route. If you're just going on one of the airport trains, you're okay, because these have space for big suitcases. But if your route requires changes, then I'd say it's best to either send your luggage from the airport to your hotel via courier, get a taxi, or look for an airport bus going straight to your hotel or a major station. Okay, I'm already worried that you're thinking, it'll be fine. I'll just squish onto the train and I can lug my suitcase up the stairs, no problem. And look, I've had the same thought, but the reality is you are going to be jet lagged, and the last thing that you want to do is lug around a 20-kilo weight all while bleary-eyed and no idea where you're going. So please listen to me and do this and make your life easier. Which brings me to another point. If you arrive earlier than you can check in, most hotels will allow you to store your bags with them, so you can go and wander around bag-free. I guess I say bag-free, but that's a bit of a lie, isn't it? Because you're probably going to have a backpack or something whilst you're exploring Tokyo. And I'd feel bad if I didn't also tell you to pack light whilst exploring, because if you have a backpack and you hit rush hour, it can be a bit of a problem. But there's a quick fix. Just do as everyone else does and make your backpack into a front pack, so you're not swinging around hitting everyone on their way home from work. Right, so now you've had all your fun in Tokyo and it's time for your next stop, Kyoto. Congratulations, that means it's time for your first ever bullet train ride. Very exciting. And especially exciting if you only have small or medium-sized suitcases, because the overhead compartments can easily fit those bags without doing anything extra. There's even enough space to put a small suitcase in front of your legs at your seat. But trust me, that's not the most comfortable thing in the world. And I know this is a bit confusing, but for bullet trains in Western Japan, if you have particularly large luggage, you'll have to reserve specific seats for oversized luggage. On bullet trains in the rest of Japan, there is no such rule, just a slightly larger luggage rack towards the end of some carriages and space behind the last row of seats. For those, it's best to try and arrive so that you're first in line onto the train, as they can fill up pretty quickly. And now you're in Kyoto with all your bags in tow. Good job. But there's a problem. You've arrived at 12 o'clock and want to go to this cool lunch place you've seen online. But it's about a 15-minute walk that away, and there's no way your luggage will fit at your seat. And your hotel is a 20-minute walk in the other direction. What do? Do you A, take the suitcases to the restaurant anyway? B, take a bus to the hotel with the suitcases? C, leave your suitcases in a locker to pick up later? Or D, give up and live with your suitcases in Kyoto Station? Of course, the answer is C, but I know you knew that, you clever clogs. But there is actually a secret fifth option, which is to send your luggage via courier. But we'll talk about that a bit later. Big stations always have lockers, and at many of them you can use your transport IC card to pay. This lasts until midnight of the same day, so you'd have to pay the same again if you left it overnight. There are often large lockers for large suitcases too, however, these do fill up pretty quickly. In that case, there may be a baggage storage counter that you can use instead. So leave your stuff there and come back later. It's later. You've had your food, you've seen some sights, and you've come back to get your luggage and go to the hotel. And I feel like I can see you thinking about this option. And I highly advise against it. I say that because local buses in Japan are really not made for suitcases and are often packed with locals just trying to get home. In fact, many bus companies don't allow suitcases unless they are airline carry-on size or smaller. You're not really gonna make any friends by running over toes with your suitcase wheels. This is especially true in Kyoto, where tourists and their suitcases have kicked up a bit of a fuss with the local residents. Instead, it's better to get a taxi. It's not going to cost too much for a short trip, and it will just make things easier for you and everyone around you. There are a few different taxi apps that you can use in Japan where you can choose the size of the taxi as well. I will just point out here that if you're going on some sort of long distance bus, they will have a luggage compartment below that is super handy, just not these normal local buses. Right, and now you've had enough of Kyoto, all that 1,000-year-old history under your belt. You're a pro, and you want to reward yourself with a relaxing time at the beach in Okinawa. And I don't blame you, because I love Okinawa. But that means it's time to hop on a plane. And that means luggage restrictions. So this depends on how you're traveling. If you're flying with a regular airline like JAL, you probably don't need to do much. They're a bit more forgiving with their carry-ons and include a complimentary checked bag. For low-cost carriers though, like Peach, they are quite a bit stricter with their allowances, and if you go just a little bit over their limits, you're going to have to pay quite a lot at the airport, so just be careful. But if you're getting multiple trains and you have a long way to go once you get to Okinawa, it's probably better to just send your bags there. So I have another little quiz for you. How do you send your luggage to your next hotel? Do you A, send it straight from your current hotel? B, send it from the station? C, send it from the airport? Or D, send it from a convenience store? The answer is all of them! Okay, I know I did that annoying thing where there's no one right answer, but it's true. There are so many different ways to send your luggage because couriers like Yamato and Sagawa partner with a lot of different places. Of course, there are some caveats because not all hotels, convenience stores, and train stations will offer courier services, but the larger or more popular the area, the more likely that they will. And if your hotel doesn't, then they will probably at least know where to go for it. For sending it to the airport in most cases though, you will need to make sure that your luggage will arrive the day before your flight. So that might mean sending it 2 days in advance. And coming from the UK, when I first heard about luggage services, I was a bit skeptical because where I'm from, sorry to any Brits listening, but it is true, you can't be certain that you're going to get your luggage in the next day or two, and it might not be in the best condition either. But in Japan, these services are genuinely super reliable. The length depends on how far your luggage needs to go, so it will usually arrive the next day, whereas in some cases, same-day delivery is possible. Or for larger distances, it can take 2 days or more. But usually the only time that damage or complications or delays happen is during a natural disaster, in which case you probably shouldn't really be moving around much yourself anyway. I hope I haven't bombarded you too much with luggage information today, but my point is just that if you plan in advance and know what you're doing, then hopefully your trip will be as smooth as suitcase wheels on an airport travelator. Happy travels. Bye!